Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of our new SpeakOut series. My name is Rally Chakarova, and I'm the Executive Director of the Bolt Foundation and the moderator for today's exciting discussion. The Bolt Foundation has a very simple but important mission: to inspire the next generation of construction professionals here in the GTA. One way to do that is to ensure that young people have the information they need to choose a career that they're passionate about and that they can be successful in. This new series will facilitate virtual discussions on the in-demand careers in construction and how young people can get started. Each panel will be made up of industry professionals, including union reps, employers, and apprentices, to provide useful insight into the education and training requirements, the physical demands, what to expect day to day, the advancement opportunities within the specific construction career. I want to acknowledge and thank our series sponsor, RBC Future Launch, for their generous support of this important initiative to help close the information gap and get more youth interested in construction careers. And to kick off the series, today we'll be discussing a popular choice for many young people, a career in plumbing. But first, a few housekeeping notes. If you're having issues with your stream, click here to refresh stream under the video player to view our alternate stream. If you're having any technical issues, click on the help button on the lower right corner of the webcast page. Your help request will be emailed back to the email address you provided. You may ask a question at any time during the webcast. To ask a question, simply click on the questions tab and click on the questions button. A new window will open to type in your questions. We will receive the questions and try to get through as many as we can. So without further ado, let's take a quick look at what a career in plumbing looks like on site.
Following the concrete structure of the building as it rises, the plumbers are right behind, basically installing all of the components for the supply and disposal of water, starting with what's called the drain risers. The drain risers form a complete system that carries the wastewater from the sinks, showers, and toilets down and out to the sanitary sewer under the street. The plumbers here are following the drawings and details prepared by the mechanical engineers. Education and experience is required to be a plumber so that they can read the mechanical drawings and properly perform the work so the system can function as designed. All of the components in the drain system must be installed at a certain height, and all of the pipes must be installed on a certain slope for the water to drain. Next, the plumbers install the water supply lines. The plumbers cut them to length, prep them by sanding the ends, and then solder them together for a durable and watertight seal. In the lower levels of the building, the plumbers are busy with a lot of work, including the boilers, the hot water tanks, various pumps and valves, and supplying water to the many pieces of mechanical equipment throughout the building. The steam fitter is a classification of plumber that builds the piping that will carry water, steam, fluids, gases, chemicals, and fuel to flow under pressure. So basically, when you see natural gas or diesel-powered equipment, or the use of compressed air or boilers, that piping is built and installed by a steam fitter. After the tiling is finished and the sink and bathroom cabinets are installed, the plumbers return to install the plumbing fixtures. This involves installing the sinks and taps, the toilets, and the tub and shower controls.
Well, with that great introduction and visual of the work in a residential building, let's meet our industry panel. Vince, let's start with you. Please tell us about your role, your organization, and how you got started in this career.
So I'd like to welcome everyone. I'm glad that you're interested in the piping trades, regardless what field you're looking for. My name is Vince Casaba. I started the trade in 1982 as an apprentice plumber, so I've been around a little while. I also have my steam fitting and my sprinkler fitting license, and for the last 22 years, I've worked at United Association Local 46 as the assistant and then director of training. So I'm responsible for training the 2,600 apprentices we have in our organization. Our organization, actually, Local 46 itself has about 10,200 members, plumbers, steam fitters, and welders. We are the largest local in Ontario and in Canada. The United Association is actually a group throughout North America. We've got about 325,000 tradespeople. And once you get licensed within the trade, you have the ability to travel all across Canada and potentially down into the States. So there's no end of opportunity once you get into the trades. The only thing you need is on time, every day, do an honest day's job, and be willing to get smart. This is not a job for, I'm just trying to think without insulting counselors. There's a perception that tradespeople are not intelligent. I've got 2 BAs and a master's behind me that I got after I got my plumbing license. They were for fun. You can go anywhere once you get your license. You don't have to stay a plumber. Kayla became a project manager. John's a super. So there's all kinds of opportunities for you once you get there. But again, you need to invest in yourself. You need to educate yourself, because that's where you go, how you go get places in life. So again, I can ramble on forever. I will tag off to whoever's next. How's that?
Well, thank you, Vince. That was absolutely great. Kayla, I'll turn it over to you.
Hey, Riley. Thank you so much. My name is Kayla Bailey, and I am a journey person steam fitter. I'm also a gas tech and working on my welding apprenticeship slowly whenever I can find the time. And I'm also, as Vince said, the project manager for the Ontario Building and Construction Tradeswomen. We're a provincial tradeswomen's program through the Ontario Building Trades, and we have about 700 women in our ranks and growing every day. So if you're a woman and you're looking to get into the trades, we have all the tools to help you be successful and get started, and also connect with other women within the trades, and especially your own trade. One way that we do this is through free leadership training, free mental health training, and also a comprehensive mentorship program. So if you're looking to become a plumber or a steam fitter and you want to talk to another woman who is in those trades, we can connect you with them. And yeah, thank you for having me. It's really great to be here, and I'm really excited to jump into these questions. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Kayla. John, we'll go to you next.
Hello, everybody. My name is John Lamanna. I'm a piping labor manager with Modern Niagara Mechanical. Basically, piping labor manager. I take care of all the field manpower required on sites, on all the job sites we have, to make sure the jobs are properly manned up with the right supervision, then the correct manpower being journey person, plumbers, fitters, or welders, as well as the apprentices. Along with that, I support the management team, being construction managers, project managers. If there's any issues with labor going over on the jobs, or helping out with installation of the systems, crane lifts, estimates, etc. I've been with Modern Niagara for 17 years now. Started as a 4-person to general 4-person, and now a labor manager. I've been in the trade for 27 years. Started as a first-year plumbing apprentice and worked my way up, just like Vince said. There's a lot of opportunities within the industry. It's just up to the individual what they want to become, right? You can be a project manager, an estimator, a CAD person. CAD is huge too now. Once you become a journey person and you understand systems and how everything works, CAD people are a resource that is lacking with our industry, and people that understand stuff. And then the other thing is, like a lot of Local 46 members, my father was a plumber, and when I was younger, I was always go with my dad to help him do some side jobs and stuff like that. I grew up liking the trade. At 19, when I was done half of my grade 13 and was still struggling with my grades, getting my grades up for I want to become a mechanical engineer. I just decided to get into the union, and the rest is history. I don't regret it. Like Vince said, it's a great life. It's a good income, and it's great. And that's it.
Well, thank you so much, John. That's a really great example of sort of the hop skipping that you can do with these careers once you get some experience. Tasia, we'll go over to you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tasia Card, a 4th-year steam fitting apprentice. I got into the trade through the bolt program with Tridel, and then after that through the Hammerheads COBT program. And I vouch by both of those very much. Getting into the trades was one of the best, I always tell people, the best decision I made in my life. I don't think I would be where I am now if I had not taken that. And like Vince was saying, it's not, people think just to be a construction worker, there's no intellect, there's no thinking in it. You have to go to school, you have to learn the theory, you have to learn the basis of the system. You have to be smart. It's just not just wrenching stuff together as people make it seem. But if you know the theory, can do the work, it's a very rewarding field just to look back at whatever you created and just to know that you yourself put that together with everything that you have learned over the jobs in trade school and all that. All the people on the job site, they're all friendly, welcoming. It's like I tell everybody, it's the best choice I've made. I have my intermediate trade school in August. In about 2 months, I'm on my path to getting my license and then becoming Red Seal, and just the stars will be the limit from there.
Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And last but certainly not least, Jamaica, we'll end with you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jamaica Hussey. I'm a first-year plumbing apprentice. How I personally got started was when COVID originally happened. I wasn't working, and my mom, she's seen the COBT Hammerheads program. Like, I think there was a promotional flyer on the website. And she asked me, like, would you be interested in this? And at first I'm like, I don't know, because like maybe it's just like guys. I don't know if there's gonna be any girls. But eventually I did look into it, and I did do the interview process and joined the program. I completed the program successfully, and then I was placed as a plumber apprentice with Black & McDonald. To be honest, at first I didn't know really what to expect, but after like a couple of weeks and stuff of getting used to it, I really enjoy it. I would say, like, if anyone is not really sure about what career path to take, or they don't really like where they are, they're not comfortable, I would definitely suggest joining into the trades, because it's a very it's a good, like, when you work in like a 9 to 5, sometimes you don't really get to see your accomplishments. You just clock in and then you leave. But when you do a trade, you get to actually see what you're doing. You get to learn, you get to work with your hands and stuff like that. So that's something that I really personally enjoyed. Yeah. Thank you. And I'm also looking forward to this whole meeting and just answering the questions. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much. That was so well said, and a great segue into getting into our discussion. So, John, why don't we start with you? And if I'll sort of direct the questions to each one of you. If anybody else wants to jump in with additional information, please feel free to do so. We already have a ton of really great questions that have come in. So, John, let's go to you and start with the basics. What does a plumber actually do?
It's funny because it's kind of a loaded question per se, because I know when everybody thinks of plumbing, it's like toilet, sink, the basic showers and stuff like that. But, we have 3 different sectors. We have housing, we have, which is our low rise, our high rise, which is our condos, basically. And we have ICI, which is, your office towers, your hospitals, your pharmaceuticals, all that stuff there, which is very interesting. But basically on a daily, a plumber or even a fitter, basically what they do, just to keep it simple, is they basically take the drawings that have, just like in the video we saw, you have drawings that you follow, that your foreperson gives the journey person and apprentices, and they follow those drawings. And what they do first is they basically lay it out, they put hangers up, and they install the pipe. And there's different methods of joining these pipes. There's lots of methods of joining these pipes. Like Tasia said, you have to think. It's not just, straightforward. You actually have to sit there, think. You have to lay out. You have to measure stuff and stuff like that. So there's quite a bit of things to do as a journey person. And with that goes also the safety aspect. They also have procedures, safety, make sure everybody goes home safe. So it in general, that's how it is, but there's lots of aspects to plumbing and fitting.
Well, I love that explanation. It almost sounds like a puzzle. You have the drawing,
Exactly.
and you have to make all the pieces fit together.
That's exactly what it is. It's basically like a puzzle. And on top of that, like they said in the video there, you have all the other trades that you have to work closely with, your sheet metal, electrical, and all that, and make everything work good. Looks good on paper, but when you get out there, it doesn't always look good on paper. So you have to interact with the other trades and make sure things are good and stuff like that. So
Right. So a lot of collaboration as well that's required, and communication. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Vince, we'll go over to you, and something that is a question that's come in time and time again. I probably blame our title for that. But what is the difference between a plumber and a steam fitter, and where does welding come in, and as an apprenticeship or as a role in both of those, or separately?
Okay. So as John pointed out, so plumbers, everyone go, yeah, they deal with toilets. We actually deal with a lot more than that. We deal with process piping. So we could end up doing medical gas lines. So when you go to the hospital and you have the oxygen lines, the vacuum, plumbers or steam fitters could put those in. So there's overlap between the two trades. The technical difference is that steam fitters can work on steam systems over 15 psi. Only plumbers can work on potable water and drainage systems. So that's the technical difference. We both work on natural gas systems. We can both, as long as you're properly licensed. The easiest way, because everyone, what's a plumber? Plumbers clean toilets. What's a steam fitter? Who the hell knows? I tell everyone, if you look at a refinery, if you look at a nuclear plant, that's what steam fitters do. So they work on larger bore pipe that you go use a cutting torch to cut, fit, and that's where the welder comes in. So the welder's going to come in, and once the fitter has properly prepared the joint, the welder's going to weld it up. And that could be either carbon pipe, the black stuff. You could have stainless steel. There's a myriad of different materials, as John has pointed out, that you could be working with. You could be working with titanium pipe, all kinds of different stuff. So again, that's the biggest one. The welding, it's one of the processes used to weld them. There is a welder apprenticeship in Ontario. I'm not going to bore you. Plumbing, steam fitting are compulsory trades, which means in order to work as a plumber or a steam fitter, you must be either a registered apprentice with the government or a licensed journey person. With welding, because there's such a wide range of types of welding, it's not compulsory. There is still an apprenticeship for it. It's a little bit shorter. If you're welding pressure piping, now you have to be tested through the TSSA, Technical Standards and Safety Authority, who will the pressure vessel portion of it, which will come in to make sure that the welds are good. You don't want a 200-300 PSI system blowing apart because of a poor weld. So that's short and sweet. How's that?
That is excellent. Thank you so much for that. Kayla, we'll go to you next. So we heard a lot of different terms. We heard apprenticeship, we heard certified, we heard red seal. Can you tell us a little bit about what an apprenticeship is and what that process looks like? Because you're now a journey person, which is very exciting. And what some of the benefits of this model are.
Yeah, absolutely. So apprenticeship is just another form of post-secondary education, similar to university or college, but the biggest difference and the greatest benefit is that instead of paying to learn and getting into a bunch of student debt, you're actually getting paid to learn. So you're learning with your hands, you're learning in a classroom. And I know it's been said a bunch, but I can't reiterate enough that trade school is hard. You do have to be intellectually engaged. And I can tell you that I've usually been quite good at school, but I did have to try in trade school. So if you have anyone telling you that, trades are only for stupid people, they're wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. And I would say what the greatest benefit of an apprenticeship is, other than not getting into a bunch of student debt, I mean, obviously you're going to get paid very, very well, especially in a unionized apprenticeship. But you're also building your pension and your benefits right away. Apprentices have the same benefits package as a journey person. So you instantly have, really good benefits. And if you get into the trades really young, you can start building your pension at the age of 18 and, make sure that you have a good life past retirement. And ultimately just the satisfaction of getting to learn with your hands and with your eyes. If you go to other sorts of post-secondary education, you're going to be sitting in a classroom listening to someone drone on and on. So if you like to learn hands-on, that's really the biggest benefit. And you get to, get ingrained within a crew and ultimately make friends. It's definitely a better learning environment than if you're in a classroom, that's for sure. Thank you.
Well, that sounds great. And Tasia, we'll go back to you. You're in your 4th year of apprenticeship. You talked about sort of the intermediate schooling that you'll be doing in August. Tell us a little bit more about that. And what does your typical day-to-day look like at that stage of your apprenticeship?
Yeah, so like I said, in August, I have my intermediate schooling. There's 3 levels of schooling. We have the basic, intermediate, and advanced. And as Kayla was saying, like, one of the things I really do like about trade school is that, like, suppose you were going to school for psychology. That would be a 4-year whole academic program, as where my apprenticeship is 5 years. But over the 5 years, I have schooling for 6 months. I have 2 months each for basic, intermediate, and advanced. But just because it's short does not mean they're not teaching you anything. It's very intense, very jam-packed. If you do not pay attention, you will not get ahead of the curve. And on my apprentice, on the job site for day-to-day, is usually just I'm either working with a journey person, or I will work by myself on something smaller, not maybe too advanced as a licensed person would, but my 4-person and everyone on my crew knows that confident enough in my skills I can handle this without being supervised too much, which is a good, rewarding feeling. It's showing that everything I am learning in my apprenticeship, it's holding weight, because if I couldn't do this, then they would not trust me to go by myself. And you do have to do some material handling here and there. If you get an order, comes off the truck, get a forklift, take it off the truck, transfer it to wherever it has to go, or just any miscellaneous tasks like that. But I would not say I have a boring day on a job site as a steam fitter. There's always something new or interesting to learn or do.
Well, that's great. And I think anybody who's ever had a pipe burst or dealt with kind of water damage in their home or office or anywhere would really quickly understand how important these jobs are to do it well, and to do it well at the beginning, and then to maintain it as well. Thank you so much for sharing that. Jamika, how about you? Is that different from your day-to-day as a first-year apprentice? What does your day look like?
It's almost similar. So basically, I would just come into work, change into my work shoes. We have to sign this. It's like a form basically that goes over all the risks and all the dangers of the things we're going to be doing throughout the day. And we just have to sign it just to acknowledge that we understand what the dangers and risks are and that we are going to be safe about it. Once we do that, basically, since I'm still a first-year apprentice, I would be working either with another apprentice that's either first year, second, or third, or I would work with a journey person. So I would just do like small tasks. At first, when I first started, it was like sweeping the floor, getting tools or whatever the journey person or apprentice needed. And the further I worked in the company, when they started trusting me and seeing that I could handle like small tasks, they would give me like other things like cutting pipe or soldering something. So it really just depends on how much you can learn, and what you're comfortable doing will basically dictate what you're going to do for the day.
So that's great. What I'm hearing a lot from this panel is there's so much flexibility with the apprenticeship that you kind of go on your own pace. You're learning every day, and if you can pick things up quickly, then you get more responsibility. But if you need a little bit more time, that's also okay, and you can sort of build those skills up at your own pace.
Most definitely.
Can I add one more thing on the whole apprenticeship
Absolutely.
topic too? Yeah, if anyone that is thinking about being an apprentice and applying or anything, the biggest takeaway for me being an apprentice was it's okay to make mistakes, especially as an early apprentice. They don't go on the job site and people expect you to know what you're doing at all times. Especially when you're an apprentice, it's okay because you're still in the learning period of your journey. I just remember when I was going just as a first and second year, I just thought people thought I was supposed to know how to do everything. And then when I didn't, they were very easier than I thought they would be on me. And then that just made me realize like, there's no rush. In time, everyone will get there and everything.
That's such an important point. Thank you for saying that. I want to go back to something Kayla mentioned, which is let's talk about the money. You guys mentioned a lot. I think you all look happy. You all look like you're in great positions. So Vince, why don't we start with you? Can you talk a little bit about what the pay structure is more broadly as part of the apprenticeship, what the average starting salary is, what the earning potential is, and how does that change as apprentices progress through their journey?
Okay, so in general with apprenticeship, it's regulated by the government. So there's fixed ratios, whether you're working union or non-union. So a first-year apprentice would make 40% of what a journey person makes. Second year would make 50%. Third year is 60%. Fourth year is 70%. Fifth year is 80%. The typical apprenticeship is 1,800 hours per year. So you would have to work 1,800 hours as a first-year apprentice. Once you completed that 1,800 hours, then you get into your second year, and you get that 10% raise from 40 to 50%, carrying on all the way through your apprenticeship. Okay, there are some ways to shorten up your apprenticeship. So Tejan mentioned the trade school. You're required to do 3 levels of trade school. They're 8 weeks, 5 days a week. Local 46, you're going 7 o'clock till 2:30. You're doing about 6.5, 7 hours of schooling a day. So think about if anyone's been to university, you go for, I remember when I was going, you go for an hour and a half class, and then that was it. You have a bunch of work at home. Both Jamaica and Tejan can vouch for the fact you had lots of work at home, correct? And Kayla as well. So you're being paid, you're not being paid for your physical abilities. You're being paid for your mental abilities. That's where you're making the money. I can get anyone to carry pipe. It's not rocket science, but knowing what to do with it. Sort of tying in what Kayla was saying, we're training mini engineers. So when you finish off your trade school as a plumber, you've learned all the requirements in order to pipe up a building. So if you have if you have a house, there's certain code requirements that you have to meet in order to pipe that out. A 50-story condo is just 50 houses on top of each other. So broadly speaking, same with the steam fitting. They're teaching you how to size and pipe systems. So we can actually go in, and I guarantee it's happened to John on lots of times. You go into a job site as a foreman before I came in here, you'd look at the drawings and go, the engineers don't know what the hell they're doing, especially plumbers, because they have the plumbing. They don't understand how to pipe in vents. So anyways, so that's why we got lots of money. So the question is, how much money does a unionized apprentice make? So coming in off the street, you're going to make $25, $26 an hour right now, plus benefits. So you're putting $1.65 into benefits, plus your pension. A first-year apprentice is putting about $3.60 in to their pension every hour that they work. Okay, so the total package for a first-year apprentice at the contractors will be paying is approximately $33. As you go up, you're getting that raise. So once you get to be a fifth-year apprentice, you're looking at about $52 an hour that you're making, and you're not even licensed yet. So again, in Local 46, we go from a fourth year is 70%, fifth year is 85%, just because we're Local 46. And hopefully they know a lot more. We spend literally hundreds and hundreds of thousands, close to $1 million a year within our organization, Local 46, providing additional training at night. So, and on Fridays, on weekends. So the membership can come in, apprentices, journey people, they can come in and do additional training. So rather than having to pay $2,500, $3,000 to get a gas license at a college, you can come to Local 46. This will cost you $200 for the exam. It's going to, bloody phones. It's going to cost you another about $400 for books, and that's it. And the best part is, as a G3, that 180 hours you're going to spend in class comes off your apprenticeship. So now you're 180 hours closer to your second year. So again, the more you invest in yourself, as we've been discussing, the more valuable you get and the quicker you get through your apprenticeship. In terms of the top end, there really is no top end. Like, I'm guessing John's making a very comfortable living doing what he's doing because of the responsibilities he has. A general journey person should be $110,000 to $120,000 a year, obviously gross. That's without overtime. You start getting into overtime, and it just goes up exponentially. We've had members travel across the country working, travel around the world. We've had people working in the Middle East, in Asia on pipeline. So again, like if you get into specific sectors such as the pipeline sector, they're making $250,000 a year. Again, it's not because they're pretty. They're working 6 days a week in crappy conditions. But if you're willing to work, the money is there for you. The beautiful thing is, when you get tired of working for one contractor, you go, you know, it's been fun. I'm thinking I'm going to go to another contractor. So you leave that. You just go, yeah, could you make up my books? And next morning, you have a job somewhere else if you're good. So again, it's all incumbent on the person. You invest in yourself, you become real good. You write your own ticket. So again, training guy, I can talk forever. So I'll pass it off to someone else.
Well, I love that, Vince. Thank you so much. I think that was a great overview. Also, I'm sold. So if you've got any, spots open there, it's not too late for me.
Yep.
So let's then change gears and say, you know what, I'm sold. It all sounds amazing. How does someone get started, and what do you look for? So, John, you work for, Modern Niagara is a huge company, doing great stuff here in the city and beyond. So what makes a successful plumbing or steam fitting apprentice? What do you look for when you hire new apprentices? If you can talk a little bit about the basic requirements, do they need to be certified? Get into that conversation a bit.
Yeah, definitely they have to be certified through the union. So definitely we're always looking for apprentices that are eager, willing to learn. This is a long process. It's 5 years, right? You don't become a journey person overnight, and when you do, there's so much more to learn. Like even after the 5 years, when they go write your CFQ and you become a journey person, I don't care what anybody says, you still got so much learning to do. I learn every day. There's new products out there. There's new ways of installing stuff and stuff like that. So just people that are open-minded, right? Also, be open to, like I said, new products and ideas. Embrace technology. A lot of the industry is going with new technology, being tools, CAD, all that stuff. So just looking at stuff like that. With first-year apprentices, if we're looking for first-year apprentices, we lean on the union to get us those first-year apprentices because they bring them in. As the union brings them in, they go to the union and they have a 1 week period where they are put out work ready, being they're work ready with their safety. They're working at heights, WMIS, 4 steps. I encourage a lot of first-year apprentices, when they're done that there, to get their scissor lift training, forklift training while they're at the union hall, so that they come out and they're 1 step ahead of other apprentices that don't have that. So on job sites, we have a lot of working off of scissor lifts. Without a scissor lift license, you can't get on the scissor lift. Like Taylor said, first year apprentices do a lot of material handling and use forklifts. So a forklift license is an asset to them. All right. Then when it comes to like 2nd, 3rd, 4th years, as we have our jobs going, if it's a plumber or a fitter, usually the foreperson tells me, hey, listen, I need 3rd-year apprentice. We're doing this year. We're doing, just for an example, we're putting in cast iron pipe. Do you have any guys that have worked on cast iron pipe? So myself, I have my list of guys, what they've worked on and stuff like that to move them around, right? Kind of thing. I also encourage all apprentices to take advantage. Vince touched base quickly. Take advantage of the night courses that our union offers. So yes, the apprentices need to do the 3 basic, intermediate, advanced. They can't get out of that. In order for them to get their CFQ, they have to do those 3 and pass those 3. But the night school is a huge thing. When I was an apprentice, I took as many courses I could. I took blueprint reading. I took CAD. I took gas, fuel, oil. Like even your basic gas installer and fuel oil, even as a plumber, put you ahead of other journey people, because those are tickets that we need people to install those systems. Because if you don't have those licenses, you can't work on those systems, kind of thing, right? The other thing is, a huge thing is Trimble. We have Trimble is for sleeving. We're going that way with sleeving now on job sites, as they put the wood down and stuff like that. Instead of doing old school with measuring tape and stuff like that, it's a total robot that is programmed that you go along. So this is what I'm talking about, technology. If and the job sites, as they start, the new job sites, when they come out of the ground, if you know underground and you know sleeving, you're ahead of other people, because you'll be first people on site, kind of thing. So that's a little bit overall.
Those were fantastic tips. Thank you so much for sharing those. And, what I'm really hearing is that this is, all the supports are really there. All the options are really there. It is really about the individual and the drive that they have to want to learn. So that's sort of the biggest thing I picked up from all of you, is that you got to go out there motivated and willing to absorb all of this information and kind of, generate your own path. And I love that you drive this home, because we sort of started the conversation with, everybody thinks that, the skilled trades are for people that just can't cut it in college and university. And what I'm hearing here is the absolute complete opposite, that there's so much thinking and learning that's constantly there, a lot of problem solving, a lot of communication, a lot of collaboration. So thank you so much for that.
I don't want to cut you off, but quickly, we have a lot of people that have gone to college and university, okay, and have come back and gone into the trade because they can't find it. And they're like, I wish I got into trade, because they see that there's more than just working with your hands. Working with your hands is the first aspect. If that's what you love to do, but after that, there's so much more to the trade that is like, and that's what I'm saying. These people that went to college and university, they see that, right? It's kind of thing. So it's a good.
Sorry, John. I was going to say, I have a couple instructors that they got their licenses and then they went back to university to do mechanical engineering. Just because they're going, yeah, you know what? It's I've got my trade, because as long as you have that license, you can do anything, because you have that soft landing. If university doesn't work, you come back and you just go back to work. You can come in on Friday. I need a job, and everything being equal, you're out to work on Monday. So again, we go back to the high school counselors. I've got these students. They're not academically inclined, but they're good with their hands. Can you help them out? Yeah, take piano, because I can't use them. I can teach people how to work with their hands. but I need smart people. If you have smart, and I'm not looking for rocket scientists. And again, so I'll sort of tie in. This will be my plug. How's that? So we're actually July 4th. We're starting to take applications for apprenticeship. So we will probably have between 600 and 900 people apply online. So there's 3 steps of the process. You go online, you fill out the application, and there's a whole bunch of questions there that we use to try and get a feel for the person. And every question has a point value associated with it. So if you come in with a G3 gas license, you have more points there. If you come in with a driver's license, that helps because this is a trade. Our jurisdiction goes from Ajax over to Burlington, up through Collingwood to Huntsville. So you have to, that's why we're called journey people, because we journey. So you have to be able to journey. Once you go through that, we look at your education, and all I need is a high school transcript. And we're going to look at what you did in high school, what level was. I come from way back when you had basic, general, and advanced. Now you have college and university level. But we go through and assess, what did you do? Math, English, science, that's what we're looking for. If you have food services, that's wonderful. We don't serve food in the trades. Last but not least, there's a mechanical aptitude test. So they're going to go through, it's an hour and a half that they have. There's math, there's English comprehension, there's mechanical reasoning, and there's spatial relations. So spatial relations, we give you something that's flat, and then we give you the 3D version of it, and to see if you can take that and figure out what it looks like in your head. So what happens is we get all those marks, we put them together, rank them from 1 to however many. We'll take the top, maybe 160, bring them in for interviews. That's marked. And then from there, we add up all the marks, sort them from 1 to whatever. And then, as John said, we start bringing them in for interviews as demand dictates in the industry. So as the work's out there, we'll bring them in. Something that should be recognized is the trades. We've been booming for the last few years, but the trades, if they're not building, we're not working. So again, it goes back to, if you have that knowledge, you can go elsewhere. As a plumber, you could always do side jobs. Fitters, typically, they're not really out of work. They can bounce around. So anyway, so I have no idea where this started, but the train is coming into the station, and I'll let someone else hop onto it. How's that?
Vince, you answered the question before I even asked it. So thank you. That was a great overview of what the process was. And just a couple of follow-ups, because you did say that you want a high school diploma. Is there any particular level of math, English, or science that you look for on that transcript?
Like everything, like the more you have, the more points you get. So if you, and I'll use basic, general, advanced. If you had basic math, you get 5 points. If you had general math, you get 10 points. If you had advanced math, you get 15. So if you had algebra, relations, you get 15 points apiece for those. If you have a shop class, I think we give you 5 or 10 points for that. And again, same with the English. So the higher levels and the more you have, the better it is. We're looking for a... what's the word I'm looking for? We're looking for someone who theoretically could go to university, but has chosen to make a lot more money. And not that I'm saying that people who, like, again, we'll also take a GED. But again, like I said, the more you have, the easier it's going to be in the trade, because if you have, and I guarantee everyone on this screen will agree with me, if your math skills aren't strong, you're going to have real challenges. We actually have a basic math program where we upgrade the apprentices on their general math, arithmetic, fractions, that sort of stuff. And then we get them into the trade math. So again, and like I just look at it, and it's sad what happens in school, that they're just pushed out without it. And it acts as a real hindrance. So.
Right. No, thank you for clarifying that. And it sounds to me like it's a very competitive process to get in, and you have your pick of the litter to pick the top candidates that come through and then dispatch them to start their apprenticeship. So thank you for saying that. And we did talk a little bit about misconception. So I'd like to go back to that. And Jamika, I'll start with you because I'd love to know, it's kind of a two-piece to the question. One, what did you find most challenging as you were getting started into your apprenticeship? I'm sure it's still fresh. You're in your first year. And then if you want to share a misconception that maybe you thought or the people around you thought was it for plumbing, that is completely not true.
Okay, so to answer the first question, like what did I struggle with the most or what did I find the hardest? To be honest, I would say probably waking up so early because I'm a late sleeper. I like my sleep, but when you're in the trades, everyone's up before the sun is up. So you're up like 4:30 in the morning, depending on how far you work or what time you start. So I would say that was probably the most challenging. And also like what Vince was saying about the math, like a lot of people think that you don't really need math, but
oh, I think we lost your video there, but I think we might still be able to hear you. No. There you go.
actually do. Sorry. Like with what I was saying about the math part of it, people think you don't really need math, but it's really, really, really important. Like everything has to do with math. If you don't know, like just simple basic things, like even Pythagorean theorem and stuff like that. I thought I would never use that again, but I find myself like using it obviously just to calculate certain things. So I would say math is extremely important in the trade. That's like the number one thing. And to answer the second question, I would say, sorry, could you repeat the second half of the question again? Sorry, Rob.
A misconception that you held or that somebody around you held about a career in plumbing that's completely untrue, if you have one.
Probably when people say if you're a plumber, you just deal with toilets and sinks. Because to be honest, since I started, I haven't touched one toilet or sink. It's mostly been just like pipes and steam pipes and things like that. Like people just automatically assume like you're just over a toilet or over a sink the whole day. But there's just so much more to it. To be honest, it's a really satisfying job for me personally because I get to do things with my hands and then I can come back 2 years later, 2 months later and say, oh my God, like I installed that or I put that together. So I think it's a really satisfying job. It's also really, really important because without water, like, I don't know, like there's a lot of things that just couldn't happen without it. So it's a really rewarding trade to be in. Yeah.
Absolutely. Great answer. Thank you so much. And Deja, we'll go to you with the same question. What did you find most challenging as you progressed through your apprenticeship? And what was one misconception that you heard of or that people around you think that is completely untrue?
Just like Jamika said in the beginning, the hardest part was just waking up. Like in the very beginning, I found that was, it was horrible. But then after a couple, I still don't have a good sleeping cycle, but it's like my body can do it now. I can go to work off for like 4 hours, or like 5 hours. Like I shouldn't, but it is what it is now. But that was the hardest thing in the beginning. But after I got over that, the hardest thing like on the job site was just trying to, especially as a first, second year, third year, the hardest thing was trying to stay one step ahead of my journeyman, especially when I didn't know what exactly we were doing at the time, being so new to it, because you always want to pay attention to what your journeyman is doing. And then, like, for example, if he's gonna thread to a pipe and a coupling, like join two pipes together, you know he's gonna need a pipe wrench, or the piece of pipe is gonna need to be T-taped with dope on it, or like you should know what to do. Your journeyman should not be asking you, just have it done. Day goes by much smoother and it's better relations between you two that way.
So you have to anticipate what's coming down the pipeline so that you can support the journey person in their work. That's
exactly, because if you're going down, I don't know, 30 feet, you should know approximately how many hangers you would need, like if you're going to oversize or if it's cooling or heating or just stuff like that. And then I think the biggest misconception, the two biggest misconceptions was math. People think you don't need to know anything as a tradesperson, which is absolutely wrong. Before I got in the trades, I went to adult school to take a grade 12 math just to kind of just refresh myself, because I was not good on integers and fractions, and that's all you see. That's all you see every day in the trades, is just dealing with fractions. And then you're going to have to know how to change them from decimals to fractions or fractions to decimals. It's a lot of math. And so I just went back to school for a semester just to get that. And I think the biggest misconception I had on the job site was just, like I said before, being an apprentice and thinking you should know everything, but you don't. That's what the whole 5 years is for. The 5 years is for you to learn. And just take your time, but don't milk it.
I just want to add in there, as an apprentice, you guys should all, and if anybody's going to get into it, ask questions. Ask a lot of questions. No question's a stupid question. Mm-hmm. And if your journey person is rude to you, oh well, go to the next journey person. I think you would, Teja, you're on a site that had like 60 journey people, right? You can go to other people, right? So asking questions, like you said, mostly everybody that gets into this, not mostly everybody, but I'd say 95% are not people that have dealt with any of this trade or understand anything. So ask questions, right? That's what the journey person is there for. They're supposed to help teach our apprentices to get to their next level, right? So,
right, almost like a mentor that
100%. That's what they're supposed. 100%. That's what it's supposed to be. And we preach UA Local 36. We're all brothers and sisters, right? So we're supposed to help each other.
Well, that's great. And I do want to talk about the sisters. And Kayla, I'm going to bring it back to you because I think it's no secret that women are still very underrepresented in the construction skilled trades. And I've seen Local 46 in particular actually really take an active role in trying to bring in more women. But I want to turn to your organization and ask you, what does your organization do to help encourage and support more women to get into the skilled trades and especially into plumbing and steam fitting?
Absolutely. So the Ontario Building and Construction Tradeswomen, we're committee by and for tradeswomen. So, we've got our direct ear to the ground and we represent all trades, all sectors, all level of representation. We have a lot of different avenues that we go about supporting women, recruiting them into the trades, retaining them into the trades. And one of the biggest successes that we've had is through our mentorship program. Oftentimes, you might be on a site with 30 or 40 workers and you might be the only girl. And some people find that very isolating. Some people don't. But if if you're first generation into the trades, you don't have family in it, you're the only tradeswoman that having that mentor, a journey person or journey woman who can, kind of walk you through some of this stuff is helpful because, as tradeswomen, we do face additional challenges and sometimes we do have to try a little bit harder and we got to work a little bit harder to get the same recognition. So just kind of, having someone there that can support you. I'm lucky. My mom's been in the trades for over 30 years. So, whenever I had a bad day, I could always give her a call. But not everyone has that, right? So that's what we try to do. And we also have a monthly committee meeting. So, our committee is constantly changing initiatives and switching gears based on, what the industry needs and what our tradeswomen are telling us is going on in the field. So, if you've never heard of the OBCT, check us out on social media, check out our website. We have lots of resources. We offer free mental health training, opioid poisoning training, leadership training, and sometimes even a financial course. If you come at the right time of year, we run that about quarterly. So, these are all skills that are going to help you be successful. and also just connecting with other women. Just this past weekend, we had a social event in Hamilton at the Workers' Arts and Heritage Center, and it was so wonderful to see so many women come there on Sunday and kind of meet each other, especially after years of COVID and Zoom meetings. So it was really good. I mean, we had made a rule that we weren't going to talk business and we were just going to, hang out and socialize. But ultimately, there were a lot of apprentices that showed up and they were asking, how do I advance myself in my career? Or how do I deal with this situation? And really just that peer support and advocacy is basically the long and short of it is that's what we offer.
Absolutely. And, unfortunately, I'll say these are challenges for women across many different industries. I know I've felt the need to prove myself more and more than male peers in my previous career. But it's great to hear that there is such active support to make sure that there is a network of, specifically women in the trades to support each other and be able to complete that. Not just the recruitment, but also the retention piece. And then I'll turn it over to just you and Jamaica very quickly to just ask the simple question, would you recommend your career to other women? Kayla, why don't we go back to you?
Yeah, I would absolutely recommend it. I mean, my dad died at a young age and my mom was able to provide me, the same quality of life as anyone else on a single income. And that was because she was in the trades. And same for me. I mean, I'm only 27 years old. I've already bought my own house. I have a very comfortable, good life. As Vince was saying earlier, I mean, it allows us to go on vacation, to have all those expensive hobbies. So, what? I would definitely recommend it to women, especially, in the GTA, we got a wild housing market and, costs are going up. So especially if you get yourself into the union, you're always going to beat inflation and you're going to be able to, provide for yourself and your family.
Well, that's great. And Jamaica, we'll go to you. Would you recommend this? Would you recommend your career to other women?
Yeah, just like what Kayla was saying, I would definitely recommend this, not only because it provides financial stability, but you get to work with your hands, gain new experiences. You get to see the hard work that you put in. It's really, really rewarding to see okay, I went to work and I did this and I can come back and see, okay, it's still there. I did this, it's very satisfying. Also in the trades, even though it's male dominated, there are things that women might be better at than the men. Or for example, since I'm so small, maybe there's spaces that they can't fit into that I could fit into. So it's it kind of works hand in hand. And I mean, sometimes there's a misconception where certain females might not want to join the trade because they feel they might not be welcome or they might be treated a certain type of way. Even myself, I did feel that was what I was going to walk into when I started, but it was actually the complete opposite. They made me feel I didn't feel out of place. I was actually the only girl on my job site. So I thought I would feel a little bit weird just because I'm the only female, but I actually felt kind of like one of the guys. They didn't make me feel left out or make me feel I'm not capable of doing certain things. If anything, they would push me to do more things, or they would tell me, ask questions if you don't understand. If anyone's ever making you feel uncomfortable or not safe or anything like that, you always have resources that you can turn to. So it's not bad or anything like that. I would definitely recommend women to join it because we're heavily unrepresented in these trades. So to see more women join would definitely make a different, a better environment, and it would make other women want to join the trades as well.
Absolutely. And Vince, we'll go over to you for the last word.
Oh, I was just going to say, commenting, I just want to be clear that neither Kayla nor Jamaica are in Local 46 because they're women. They're in Local 46 because they met the requirements and they earned their way in. We don't do tokenism here. So, because I've turned away lots of ladies because they didn't have the marks necessary to make it in. So again, I just want to be perfectly clear that they've earned their way in like every other apprentice in here. So again, just so that's, because I had the very first orientation I ever did, I had the only female apprentice. She came up to me the second day, goes why am I here? I go, you want to be a steam fitter? If you want to be a plumber, I don't care. And she goes, no, they're telling me the only reason I'm here is because I'm a girl. I go, no, the only reason you're here is because you're number 6 out of 450 applicants. If you're number 21, you wouldn't have made it. That's, again, because that way there could be no, oh, well, you're here because you're a girl. No, you're here because you're good and you're going to do very well. And women make very good welders. I don't know what it is, but they make very good welders. So again, there's definitely a place. They get turned into the little sisters on the job if there's only one of them. Like the guys will watch out for them, typically speaking. Again, not being a girl, not being out on job sites as much anymore. But okay, so the basically closing. So funny or personal story. I don't have anything funny. The one thing, so I'll tie it all into one. The advice for anyone. See, the apprentice are saying, yeah, no, he's not funny. There are other words that they'll use for me, but funny is not one of them. It doesn't matter what, for everyone out there, it doesn't matter what you're going to do in life. Get a good education. If you don't have that, you've lost your foundation. If you don't have a foundation, you can't build. Sort of tying in with what everyone said, like some of the places I've been as a journey person working. Like I worked at the Scotia Plaza, sitting at the top of the Scotia Plaza, looking down the side of it 1,000 feet. Very few people have had that opportunity. Working at the CBC broadcast building, seeing massive sound stages, working in the subway at the one of the subway stations. Again, the places that you end up working, no one can understand. And the beautiful thing is now you guys have cameras. When I was out there working, we didn't have cell phones, so I couldn't take pictures. I remember working in, call it what it was. It was the down at the lake, there's a mental institution. And they had little cells in the basement that they'd put the people into. And you look and go like, literally from a different era, they still had the autopsy place there. It was at Humber College. You're turning into the music conservatory. So as they pointed out, you're going to sit there and you're going to piss off everyone in your family because you go, oh yeah, I worked there. I worked here. And after a while they go, enough of that. We know you worked everywhere. Just shut up. But again, educate yourself, invest in yourself, and you will have a very good life.
Well, that is a great way to end it up. And we're out of time here, but I do want to give everybody, and you have 20 seconds now, thanks to Vince, to just tell very quickly your advice to anyone who's interested in pursuing this career. So John, we'll go over to you.
I would say get in early, as early as possible. You can get in. It's the best thing to do. Get in as early as you can. Like Vince mentioned, even if you get your license and you want to go back to school, you have money now to pay for your school, and then you can come back if you want to. But I'll tell you right now, most people that get into it and make the money, they make more of a career within the industry, being plumber, sheet metal, whatever, if they have that goal of being something. So get in early.
Get in early. Perfect. Jamaica, we'll go to you.
My advice would be for women specifically, don't feel afraid to do something or like step out of your comfort zone because you might feel like, this is not for me, or I might not feel welcome. If anything, it's the total opposite. It's just to take that chance and that risk. Me personally, I like being the only girl on the job site. I don't know why. It's rewarding. It's good to know that like, okay, I can do the exact same thing that these guys can do. And it's not like, it doesn't look bad, or, like they don't make me feel bad if I can't do certain things or can't lift certain things. And the second piece of advice I would say would be to make sure you learn or update your math skills, because math is extremely important. There's never a day that goes by where you're not using math. And so just work on your math skills and take risks.
Perfect. Tasia, we'll go to you, and Kayla, you'll have the last word.
My biggest advice, just as an apprentice, is just be on time. That's the best thing I can say. That's what's going to keep you working. It's going to keep you have a job when times for layoff comes, people that don't have the best track record are usually the ones to go first. And you don't want to be not working unless you already have like a comfortable account and you're just working for fun, I guess. But that's not a lot of us out here. So just make sure you're always on time. And just for apprentices in general, one thing that gets me by, if you think someone's getting at you, or because you're an apprentice, you're gonna have to do maybe the job that no one else doesn't want to do. And the lower you are, sometimes the worse jobs are gonna be. What kept me going is you look on the job site and you look at everybody, and you can't take it personally because you know everybody else did their own apprenticeship. Everyone else did their own time. So you can't feel like you're special and that you should avoid all of this. It's just part of the journey.
That's great. And Kayla, last word over to you.
Just to reiterate a lot of points, show up every day, be on time, ask questions. And for the ladies in the room, I mean, if you're worried that you're not going to be strong enough, prove them wrong, right? Go to the gym. I had to do that in my first year. I had to get really into weightlifting, and I am very competitive. I like to prove people wrong. And you know what? It's what got me through my apprenticeship. And if you're that kind of competitive person, you're going to have a lot of fun, and it's not all bad. I mean, 90% of your brothers are going to take really good care of you. And the other 10%, you could probably change their mind with hard work. So don't worry about it. And great job. Thank you so much for hosting this.
Well, thank you. That's all the time we had for today. Thank you all for joining us for this very first episode of the series. And be sure to keep an eye out for our next one that will discuss electrical careers. So a recording of this discussion will be posted on both the Bolt's YouTube channel as well as the SpeakOut page on our website, boltonline.org. I want to once again thank RBC Future Launch for their generous support of this series, and especially our industry panel who took time out of their busy days to share their insights, experience, and advice. Thank you all so much for doing that, for the great discussion. Have a great one.